6 years later, with Driftmark succession suddenly critical, Rhaenyra attempts to strike a bargain with Rhaenys. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today I'll be reviewing House of the Dragon Episode 8. So, we've jumped 6 years ahead with Lord Corlys gravely injured during battle. And Vaemond is vying for the throne of Driftmark. He wants it because Rhaenyra's children are illegitimate. They're not his nephew's kids, clearly. And everybody knows it, but nobody wants to admit it. Because if they do and they confront, then Rhaenyra could be, and her children could be put to death. So that's a big issue that we see that everybody ends up going to King's Landing for. Damian, of course, gets the letter from Baela, and he's getting, like, after he gets 3 dragon eggs, and then when he goes to Rhaenyra, we see that Jace is trying to learn High Valyrian, which I thought was really kind of cool because of the fact that he is, trying to get ready to be a king. But we don't actually see him or his brothers training in anything else, which you'll get to see how that pays off later on in the episode. So they all go to Driftmark, King's Landing too. And when they get there, they're not greeted by Alicent or anything because Alicent has to go take care of a delicate matter that Aegon has caused. Basically, he assaults a girl in his bedchambers, and Alicent knows what he did is wrong and that it wasn't her fault, but she tells her that. She tells this girl that, but then turns around and says, but other people may not think that you didn't do anything wrong. They may think that you did, you seduced him, and you don't want that, so don't tell anybody. I mean, she literally turns it right around on this girl, and the girl is, like, seriously freaking out. And I was like, wow. I was like, dude, Alicent's cool. She's being all, like, compassionate, and then she's like, nope. She's like, you tell anybody? Done. Basically, that's what I took out of it, and I was like, dang. I'm like, Alicent, no way. And then she, of course, confronts Aegon, and Aegon is just a terrible person. Oh, man. Like, none of these kids are great. I'm going to tell you right now, none of these kids are great, and if I had to pick a king, I think Aemond would be the best one out of all of them, out of all the kids, because he's the one who's been training in everything, history, swordsmanship, all of that stuff. He's been training ever since he got his eye taken away. So this is a real big thing compared to his brother, who just literally goes after girls and does whatever he wants. It's a very big contrast between the two of them. And after Damian and Rhaenyra go and see Viserys, they kind of realize that he's on his deathbed, that he's not going to last much longer. And Damian finds out that he's been drinking milk of the poppy, which has been keeping, of course, his pain down, but it also dulls his mind. So he confronts Alicent about that, and she's like, well, he's in a lot of pain. What are we supposed to do? And he's like, yeah, but you've been ruling in his stead, making decisions that are not even his. That's basically what he's getting at when he's confronting her about it. And yeah, they have been. They've been doing things that they think is best for the realm and for their family, not anybody else's. And when, when we end up getting to see the succession scene for Driftwood, when they all start to do their petitions, we see Viserys walk through the doors. And everybody, Otto Hightower, Alicent's like, oh no, all of our plans straight out the window, boom, done. And Viserys starts to go up to the throne, and one of the soldiers comes over and helps him because he can't get up. And he's like, no, I'm fine. And the thing that I thought was probably one of the best parts of this episode alone was when somebody comes up next to him after he drops the crown when he's trying to go up, and he says, I'm fine, and he looks and sees it's Damien. And Damien's got a very sad looking expression on his face, like he's like, man, he's like, this is my brother, I love him, and this is so hard to see. I thought it was super moving. I really did. I really loved that part. So he gets him up to the throne and then puts the crown on his head. And of course, Viserys has a golden mask on one side of his face, and we find out why later on. And Viserys is questioning everybody. He's like, why are we hearing petitions when this has already been settled? He's like, and the only person who really has insight into Corlys's wishes is Rhaenys. So she comes up and says, yes, he wanted Luke to succeed the throne in Driftmark. And Rhaenyra's, proposed a marriage between their kids, their grandkids, and her grandkids, and her Rhaenyra's children. So she approves of that. And Vaemond is livid. This is also awesome. Like this whole sequence is so good because he gets so livid and he's like, you can run your house how you want, but you won't tell me how to run mine. Driftmark is mine because these kids are illegitimate. And their mom's a garden tool, to put it nicely. And Damien comes up behind him and goes off with his head. And I was floored. I was like, what? I was like, no way. Oh my God, it was so good. And then we end up getting, towards the end, a dinner scene with everybody. Because he's like, we're all having dinner together. And this is where he really, really gets, it gets even sadder. Because he wants everybody to get along. He wants everybody to put aside their pettiness and all their rivalries and just be a family, because the House of the Dragon cannot be strong if they're all divided. And so everybody starts making toasts to kind of each other to try to put that aside. Like Rhaenyra toasts Alicent for actually being a devoted wife who really did love the king. And Alicent, gives a toast to Rhaenyra's and says she'll be a good queen. But then the kids start to get involved. And Aemond, oh my God, he literally kicks it off. And, well, we see Aegon really get under Jace's skin because he's like, you know how to do it, right? You know where to put your, penis and all that stuff. And Jace is like, dude, shut up. He's like, whether you're my uncle or not, it doesn't matter. This is super wrong. And then Aemond stands up and gives a toast to these strong boys. He's literally putting them down, and Jace punches him. And it doesn't hurt him at all. So here is where you see the difference between training and not training. So I don't know if Jace and them have been even training in the swordsmanship or even trying to get stronger, but you can clearly see that they are, like, Aemond and Aegon are much stronger than them, but they're also older than them too, which is a big difference when you're trying to do something. So we really get to see this, and this all takes place after the king leaves because he's too weak to stay. And during the end of the episode, Alicent comes in to help her husband because he wakes up and he's in so much pain. But he tells her about Aegon's prophecy and the Song of Fire and Ice, but she's just picking out her son Aegon, bringing the realm together because he's not really making much sense because this is his dying words. And this is where the episode ends, as she leaves, because she's like, I know what you want now, I understand, and she doesn't understand that he's trying to tell Rhaenyra something that they talked about earlier, and he doesn't know that it's Alicent. So this whole episode has really been sitting by the deathbed of Viserys. Now, Paddy, I think, is the absolute standout in this episode. He played a dying king so well that it was really even emotional in parts, and it was just amazing. And of course, Matt Smith, fantastic job as Damien, because he really feels bad that his brother's dying and that they haven't really even, like, and that's my opinion, and just from his facial expressions and the way he kind of acts in the episode, is how I feel that he's taking it. But I also want to believe that it's, he's also feeling bad because they didn't they didn't reconnect. They didn't actually hang out like brothers do, because he felt betrayed by him and all the other people around the king taking advantage of the king. And they all have. Every single one of them, including him. So honestly, I can't wait to see episode 9 for this. This was a fantastic episode. I'd give this another 9 out of 10. Easily, hands down. So if you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.